Imagine West Africa in the early 14th century. An emperor stands on the shore, gazing west at the endless Atlantic. His name is Mansa Abubakari II, ruler of one of the richest empires on earth. Yet his heart isn't content with wealth or power. It is consumed by a fascination with exploration. He refuses to believe that the vast Atlantic Ocean is an impossible barrier. This visionary emperor is convinced that something lies beyond the horizon, and he's willing to risk everything to find it. In 1312, Mansa Abubakari II did something unprecedented. He abdicated his throne, leaving behind the vast Mali Empire to lead a fleet of 2,000 ships westward into the unknown. He never returned. For centuries, historians dismissed this story as legend. But recent discoveries, oral histories, and overlooked records strongly suggest that Abubakari and his men did reach the New World nearly 200 years before Columbus, and the evidence is overwhelming. Columbus himself recorded accounts from Caribbean natives who spoke of black-skinned traders arriving before him. African gold alloys were found in pre-Columbian Native American artifacts. Ancient inscriptions in Brazil and the US bear African Mandinka writing. Even Spanish explorers in Panama in the 1500s reported encountering black people already living there, before any European slave ships arrived. Today we reclaim this hidden history, unraveling the story of an African ruler who crossed the Atlantic before Columbus ever set foot on a ship. To understand Abubakari's voyage, we must first picture the Mali Empire at its height. By 1310, Mali was a superpower, stretching from the Sahara to the Atlantic, controlling nearly half of the world's gold supply. Its cities, Timbuktu, Gao, and Niani, were centers of learning, filled with scholars studying mathematics, astronomy, and navigation. Mansa Musa, the ruler who succeeded Abubakari, is still considered the richest man in history. On his 1,324 pilgrimage to Mecca, he spent so much gold in Egypt that he collapsed their economy for over a decade. That's how wealthy Mali was. But wealth wasn't enough for Mansa Abubakar II. His true obsession was exploration. West Africa's knowledge of the Atlantic Ocean. Contrary to what history books may say, Africans were not isolated from the sea. Arab historians recorded African deep-sea travel as early as 500 AD. West African sailors had long traded along the coast and knew how to navigate ocean currents. The Canary Current, a powerful westward current, flows from Africa straight to South America. In 1500s, Portuguese explorers accidentally reached Brazil by getting caught in this current. If the Portuguese could drift into the Americas by accident, a well-organized fleet from Mali could reach it on purpose. And that's exactly what Abubakar II intended to do. The first voyage, a test expedition. Before leading his grand expedition, Mansa Abubakari II sent a test fleet of 200 ships. He told his admiral, "Do not return until you have reached the far side of the ocean, or until your provisions run out." Months later, only one ship returned. The captain described a terrifying river in the ocean, a powerful current that dragged the rest of the fleet westward into the unknown. Modern historians believe this was the Canary Current, which naturally carries ships to the Americas. But instead of seeing this as a failure, Abubakari saw it as proof that land lay beyond the ocean. The grand expedition, 2,000 ships, set sail. In 1311, Abubakari II made an unthinkable decision. He abdicated his throne to personally lead a massive second expedition. He assembled 2,000 ships. 1,000 ships carried his best sailors, scholars, builders, and soldiers. 1,000 ships carried food, fresh water, and gold. Enough to sustain them for years. This was not a reckless journey. It was a state-funded mission of discovery and colonization. In 1312, the fleet launched from the West African coast. The emperor vanished into history, never returning to Mali. While evidence suggests he did reach the New World, undeniable evidence, Africans in the Americas before Columbus, physical evidence, West African gold found in the Caribbean. When Columbus arrived in the Caribbean, he found natives with gold alloy spear tips. He sent samples to Spain, where they were confirmed to be West African gold. Even the Taino word for gold was guanin, the same word used in Mali for their gold alloy. Ancient African inscriptions found in the Americas. Stones in Brazil and Arizona bear Mandinka script, the language of Mali. An Arizona petroglyph shows elephants which never lived in the Americas, but were central to Mali's culture. The Olmec colossal heads, the giant stone heads in Mexico, have distinctly African features. Some historians believe they depict African visitors who reached the Americas in ancient times. Linguistic and cultural evidence. The Mandinga of Panama. In 1513, Spanish explorer Vasco Núñez de Balboa was shocked to find black-skinned people already living in Panama. These people were called the Mandanga, the same name as Mali's people, West African words in Native American languages. The Honduran chiefs were called Al-Mamiya, title from Mali's Muslim rulers. Guanin, gold alloy in the Caribbean, is identical to Mali's term for gold. Cotton weaving. Columbus noted that Caribbean natives wove cotton in the same way as West Africans. Columbus's own words. Even Columbus suspected Africans arrived before him. He recorded indigenous Caribbean accounts of black traders from the south. In 1513, Spanish explorers found black people already living in Panama before the transatlantic slave trade had begun. Columbus personally sent Malian-style metal artifacts to Spain for testing. Mansa Abubakari II reached the Americas before Columbus. The weight of evidence is undeniable. West African metallurgy in the Caribbean, Mali's language in Native American dialects, Spanish explorers encountering black people in Panama before any slaves arrived. In 1312, nearly 200 years before Columbus, Mansa Abubakari II fleet successfully crossed the Atlantic. History has ignored and suppressed this achievement, but the truth is now resurfacing. The New World was new only to some. African explorers had already been there. Let Mansa Abubakari II be spoken alongside Columbus, Magellan, and Erickson as a true explorer who changed history. The next time someone tells you Columbus discovered America, remember this story.